right?
Yeah.
That's everybody who has, because only people who look like us would be the people qualified to say that they're the equatorial people, right? But even the people to the north look like us, and the people to the south also look like us. So it comes back to the same thing with the labels, that we don't want to get into this tug of war about labels when we know what, you know what I mean? Like, I know if somebody who looks like us comes and says, yeah, you know, the black people, I know what they're talking about. But you can't go say that to the world, because they're gonna disenfranchise you.
So what you're putting forward, is this, what is this? Is it a movement? Is it a religion? Is it a historical realization?
It's a reestablishment of the ancient culture that we say was taken away from us, that we lost during slavery, which we didn't lose. It's not lost. Like everything is right
It's
here.
still there. Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Everything's right here. You know.
So why are you reading from a holy book? It seems to me that you are introducing religion into the history and trying to shape everything we know and do, even in this program, towards your religion. I noticed that you also criticize the Afrocentric school, and several members of this program are prominent, including the principal of that school. So I'm wondering why you're doing that. You seem to be, to me, to be creating more fragmentation when we should be looking for more togetherness. You said either we are Moors or we are nothing. And I'm wondering why you're introducing such a schismatic influence into an organization that is trying and has been trying for so many years to bring us together without separating us into labels, and unless the way of affairs you are not a real person, a real African, real. You even criticize being the term black, but we don't have a problem with that.
Well, that's cool.
So why are you criticizing that?
The position that we have, right? The position that we have is that we are sticklers for facts.
Who is we?
We as in Moors.
Oh.
And what about the other? So unless you're a Moor, you don't exist.
No, well, you're a Moor.
Bloodline.
If I take this off and put this over here, I'm still a Moor.
So if I wear this hat, I'm not a Moor.
You're still a Moor with that.
It's your birthright.
Still a more bloodline.
What do we say, Ankh? In English, you're saying cross.
No.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
because an Ankh is a cross without this. Right? Like it's everything is right in our face. Just like for example, they're gonna tell you that this, right? They're gonna tell you that this is a clock, right? But this is really, that's the cross that the Ethiopians use, right? These right here are called the cardinal points. That's where the cardinals in the Roman Catholic get their stuff from, right? These right here are called the deacons. These 12 right here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 12 disciples around the Christ, which is really the Son. And every time they show Jesus, they show him with a thing around him like this. Because everything's in our face. But because of our going to institutions by the slave master, we are oblivious to these sciences. Because we think that these sciences have nothing to do with us. We think that these sciences are something that those guys brought. When they'll tell you that we learned everything from you. You could go down to the Royal Ontario Museum right now. They have a Greek exhibit. And the Greek exhibit is like down here. And then up on the wall, going along the wall and all around the whole place, right? They have these figures of black people going like this. Giving them everything. You know what I mean? And why do they portray them as black? Because Same thing that the little brother read earlier. Blackamoors are any dark-skinned people. And what they did is that they erased this, and they said, you're that now. People's misinterpretation makes this think that it's about a religion, or a fez, or a way you dress, or when that's not really what it is. I don't have any problem, like for example, we had a celebration. It's on that DVD right there. And we awarded Thando Hyman with a Noble Drew Ali Award. So it's not like we don't recognize what people are doing, but in order for us to clean this up, in order for us to get stuff correct, we need to come correct. It's enough of us wanting them to come correct, right? We wanna to clean up. We want them to clean up their house when our house is a mess. That's hypocrisy. That's black-hearted hypocrisy. And we're the only ones that's going to fix that. And yeah, it's for some people, it's one of those pills to swallow where you need the water. You're not just going to pop this thing in your mouth and just swallow. Because we are changing people's mind frame from where it was into something that they haven't even given any consideration for the past 100. In 2013, it's going to be 100 years since Noble Drew Ali came on the scene. And we could go out there and we could ask 100 people, yo, who's Noble Drew Ali? We're like, I don't know. Who's talking about? But they know about LeBron James. And they know about Michael Jackson. And they know about all these football players and all these basketball players. But if you ask them about the person who brought their birthright back to them, they don't know who that is. That's a problem.
So I don't want to hog this, but now I'm trying to summarize this. So, do you see any place for the development of the Moors, us, the Moors, I'm trying to use your word, if we continue to have an organization like ACHA, which speaks to a term that as a Moor you are probably rejecting, African Canadian Heritage Association. Do you see that there's any value to the Moors in continuing to have the NAACP and so on and so forth? These several organizations which are committed to the development of people, of dark-skinned people, specifically of African origin, of modern African origin.
If they're dealing with principles that don't change or pass away, more power to you.
Like what? Like what principles?
Like ACHA dealing with Kwanzaa principles,
Okay.
which goes back to the 7, which goes back to the Moors, because 7 is the Moors number. And it's directly related to the school of thought. Why is it that there's a 7-candle stand? Because all of those principles have to do with you aligning your chakras. That's not just some principles that you just follow. Yeah, we're just gonna be united just because we're this. No, it's a spiritual thing. It's not a book thing that we're gonna be reading out of a book and every year we're gonna do this thing. Like those 7 principles carry on until the next time when those 7 principles have to be reinstilled again, which is during that time, that seven days, and then the 7 principles, and then 1969, which is 25, which is 7. Like it's if we don't want to accept it when it's right there, then what are we gonna do?
Well, look, I don't think, from what I'm hearing, I don't think it's necessary to accept any of this. It'll be developed without seeing this as a fact. It's a fact that there's the 7 shackles and there is 1969, which comes together to make 25 and 5 and 2, 7.
Why is it like that? It's like that for a reason.
Perhaps.
Not because I say so. It has nothing to do with me. I don't want anybody to misinterpret and think that I'm saying that this is how it is because I say so. 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 equals 25. 2 plus 5 is 7.
So is there a detriment? Is there
Like-
a detriment to someone who does not teach his children that? Or
It's
who
not.
doesn't
Well,
accept
no.
that?
Well, we're teaching it. We're teaching it already.
Yeah.
The problem is that if we get too caught up in the brands which have led us to being in this situation where we need an ACHA, where we need an Afrocentric school, where we need whatever it is that we say that we need in order to be liberated, right?
So
we have to. There has to be a time when if you walk into a wall of hypocrisy, you're gonna keep walking into a wall of hypocrisy
So
all your life.
is this a brand now? Are we looking at another brand right here today?
But this is not a brand. If we go to
It's history.
These things really happen. Weren't there the Moors? Weren't they dark-skinned people? Didn't they do a lot of things? It's the history.
what's this say?
MOHR.
What does that say?
MOHR, I think that's something.
Yeah.
that can
All right.
be-
MOHR. And how would you pronounce that?
More?
More, right? All right. More.
I think-
MOHR.
Yeah.
That's German.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what that means in German?
No.
Black people.
Okay.
In German.
Ah,
So if the Germans are going to call us Moors, and then we're going to go to the Greeks, and the Greeks are going to say MAUR, which means more, black people, and then we're going to go to Europeans, and they're going to say Blackamoor, right? Then
What are these words? MOHR?
MOHR is German for black people,
Black people?
yeah, which says more in the German language. We are Moors because they don't know what a black person is. If you ask a German, what's a black person? They say, I don't know. If you ask them, what's MOHR? They say, oh, yeah, you.
Which would make
Okay.
sense from the historical.
Exactly, because from a historical perspective, there's nothing called
It would make sense because of the historical presence of the Moors in Europe.
in everywhere on the planet.
Yes, sir.
Like Maroons in Jamaica, for
Anywhere you
example.
go, Nanny of the Maroons. She's a Moor. Nanny of the Maroons.
There are two people with their arms up and nobody's
Yeah,
taking it.
because you're
Shout
from.
out who was first.
Lisa,
Well, I just wanted to say that a lot, thank you again for the information, for taking your time out, really appreciate it. But there's something that happens when you start to raise your level of consciousness, and you were talking about, what do you call this? It's called raising your level of consciousness and raising your level of awareness of historical facts that have been written out of the dictionaries, that have been written out of a lot of books or places where you would normally go to get certain facts. Some of these facts have been written out a long time ago. That's kind of what you're trying to bring back to us now. It's like a reawakening, a raising level of consciousness. And there's a point where you have to start reconnecting those dots again, because those dots have been disconnected for so long, and they've been disconnected from the womb down for over so many centuries and centuries. And what needs to happen now is to reconnect. And it's good when you have all these different questions, because it means that you are raising your level of consciousness. If you even have the question, if you're even, for those of you, I don't know who's thinking what in here, I can't read minds. But if you don't have a question, then you need to continue to find ways to raise your level of consciousness. So for those who have more questions, seek and you shall find. Just go into the dictionaries, look at the etymologies and the root words of a lot, like blackamoors. Like, look at the root word of black. The root word of black is actually blot, which is German for meaning white or white. It's not nothing to do with us. It's not about us. The word black is a label, and it's not who we are as people. It's an adjective. It's not us as a being, as a whole person. And this is kind of some of the things that I hope people have gotten from this presentation, is that it's not about labeling yourself something new in order to qualify as being a value of something.